My name is Emily and I am the User Services Librarian here at ECSU. The purpose of this video is to just walk you through how to use the databases available through the library to search for and access full-text academic peer-reviewed journal articles. And then this video is focused around technology education. So let's begin. So what you can see on the screen here is the Technology Education Research Guide. So this guide will walk you through and point you in the direction of all the best places and databases to use for this subject area. To find articles, you can do in one of two ways. You can use this main search bar here that has a lot of databases linked on the home page, or you can hit the Find Articles tab. So for today, we're going to go with the Find Articles tab. The two databases that I would recommend that are available through the library for technology education and finding peer-reviewed journal articles in the subject area are ERIC and Education Source. So these databases, I'm going to open them up. Both look very similar, but they are different databases, and so you'll find different resources in both of them. So if you were to do the exact same search, which we'll do in a minute, in both of these databases, you'll see that you have different number of results and different results in general. When you are looking for peer-reviewed journal articles through the library, I would really recommend using the library databases as opposed to something like Google Scholar, because when you are using the library databases, and I'll walk you through this in a second, there's just a lot more options when you are searching and the ways that you can refine your search. And so it just saves you time and makes the searching process a lot easier on you than if you were to be going through a resource like Google Scholar. So as I mentioned, both of these databases look the exact same. So this is what ERIC looks like, and this is what Education Source looks like. So as you can see, the only difference is one says ERIC at the bottom of the page and one says Education Source at the bottom of the page. The first thing that you always want to do when getting to a database is hitting this advanced search button underneath the search bar. And then I will do this in both of them because we'll follow along in both databases as we go through the same search. So as you can see again, looks exactly the same, but as we do a search, you'll see that there are going to be differences in the results that you get. So for the purposes of today's video, I think we'll go with a topic of gamification in STEM education, which is a pretty simple topic, so we should be able to find quite a few things. So I'm going to put in, the reason I like to do the advanced search is because as you're looking at the screen here, you can see that you have multiple search bars, so you can combine search terms. And then below you have a lot of ways that you can narrow your search down. So let's put gamification. So as you can see, as you start typing, the database will populate different search terms that you could use. So I'm going to go with this fourth one down, gamification in education or game-based learning, because if you include both, then you'll get more results. And then I'm also going to put in STEM education. And so as you can see here, the same thing happened. I'm going to select the second one, which is STEM education or science or technology or engineering or mathematics. Because we are in an education database, all of the results that we are getting are going to be all focused on education. We do have a number of databases available through the library that are not education databases. So when you are choosing your database, you just want to make sure that you are using a database that fits your topic. And so, of course, we're going with education today. And so I'm just going to copy and paste this exact same search and put it in the other database so we can see the difference in the results. So in the first database, which is, I believe, ERIC, we have 1,028 results, and then in Education Source we have over 2,000 results. And so as you can see here, the different databases cover different subject areas better. 1,000 results is still a lot, so it's not like ERIC is bad at finding sources for this topic, but just something to keep in mind when you're searching is if you search in one place and you don't find what you're looking for, it doesn't mean that that information isn't out there. It just means that you might have to try a different database because there's a lot of trial and error in finding your sources. So once you do a search, we want to narrow it down because 1,000 results is too many for you to go through and select the 5 or 10 that you need for your research. So we want to narrow this down. Along the left-hand side, one of the helpful things that, because the databases look the exact same, the narrowing tools are the same. So once you learn it, you've got it and you know it. So along the left-hand side, there's a number of different ways that we can narrow our search. The first way that I always start with narrowing my search is by date, especially in a topic like technology education, where things are rapidly changing. Technology is always changing and always evolving and developing. You don't want to have anything that is too old unless you are approaching your topic from a historical context. You want to have as recent of things as you can have. So as you can see here, there's results going back to 1979. I'm going to change that to 2017 so we can have 4 or 5 years range, so that should narrow it down and have all of our results being very recent. So I'm going to do the exact same thing in the other database. It's 2017. So in ERIC, we're down to 604 results. And in Education Source, we are down to still over 1,000 results. Once you narrow it down by date, the next thing that I usually recommend doing is narrowing it by source type. So as you can see here under source type, we have 554 reports, 504 academic journal articles, there's 20 dissertations, there are 98 ERIC documents. And so depending on what kind of information you're looking for, you might want to narrow your results down based on the source type. So I'm going to just pick academic journals for this video, but that doesn't mean that those other source types are not good to use. Just to show narrowing it down, I'm going to choose academic journal articles for today. And so now we're down to 504 results. And if we choose academic journals in Education Source, we are down to 643. So kind of we're getting close to the similar numbers, but as you can see here, like if you look at this first article here, gamification of student peer review in education, the first article, the second article there is the same, but this first one here wasn't popping up in the other database. And so, as I was saying, different databases will have different stuff. So once you narrow it down by date and by source type, you can then start narrowing it down by subject. So gamification in STEM education is quite a broad topic. You can really approach that from so many different perspectives. You can approach that from a certain age group. So say you're looking at gamification in STEM education in elementary school or in secondary school. You can approach that by location. Maybe you're looking internationally and not within the United States, or maybe you are looking for information about a certain type of study that has been done. So you can really narrow it down by so many different subject areas. And the way to do that is if you scroll down here, we want to select subject. So as we can see here, the second one is foreign country. So if you were doing that international perspective, we could select that. We have post-secondary education, higher education, teaching methods. So if you're looking for teaching methods for gamification and STEM education, you could select that. And then I'm going to select elementary education for today. And so as you can see here, there's 107 articles within there. And I'm going to narrow it down by the same thing in the other database. Let me find elementary education. Narrow it down by date. Okay, so this is a really good example because this database, which is Education Source, was the one that originally was giving us way more results than ERIC. But once we narrowed it down to elementary education, Education Source is only giving us 14 articles, and ERIC is giving us over 100 articles. And so that's just a good example of how certain databases cover certain subject areas better. So maybe Education Source would be better for post-secondary education or secondary education. But it looks like ERIC is a lot better covering results about elementary education. And so that's just an example of how not all databases cover the same subject the same way. So then from here, we have it narrowed down to 107 results in ERIC. And now we want to know how to actually access these articles. So we see these names of these articles, they sound good, they're matching our topic, but how do we actually get those articles? How do we read those articles? So you're going to see a number of different things when you are going through your results list. First thing that you might see is like this number 4 right here where it says PDF full text. So if you were to hit PDF full text, you would get a new page and you would have the full text of the article. And then I always recommend saving it right away, even if you're not sure if you're going to use it or not. Saving it right away just ensures that you'll always have it in case you want to go back to it. And sometimes recreating the same search is tricky because you don't know what database you were in. You can't remember exactly how you narrowed the search. And so narrowing it or saving it as you go is always a good option. So if it says PDF full text, just hit that button and you'll get the full text of the article. You might also see two other things. If you see full text from ERIC, you can hit that and it'll take you to a new page and you can download the full text from there, like this. But you might also see something that looks like this, get it at VCSU. If you see get it at VCSU, that may mean that this article we have the citation for the article in this database, but we don't have the full article. So we want to hit this button and this will tell us more information about the article. So once we hit that button, we will be brought to a new page on the VCSU Library website. And this will tell us if this article is available in another database. And if it was, they would have links on this page saying you can access this full text article here. Or B, what you might see is how this screen looks right now, which means we have the citation for the article in the library databases, but we don't actually own the full article. If that is the case, that is okay. We can still get the article for free. It just might take a couple days. So when you get to this page, you want to hit this yellow bar right here and sign in. And when you're signing in, you just sign in like you were to log into Blackboard or Campus Connections or your email or any of your VCSU stuff. And once you sign in, you'll see this little button. It's white now that says resource sharing under how to get it. So if you hit this resource sharing button, you'll see this form and everything in the form is automatically filled out. So we have the article title, the journal title, the author, volume, issue, page range, and your email will also be here as well because you've signed in so it knows who you are. And then if you were to hit send request, so I'll do that now. If you were to hit send request, then we at the library get notified that you are asking for this article, and we'll ask another library for the article, and then we will get a PDF emailed to us, and then we'll email you the PDF. That process usually takes it could take 2 hours or it could take 2 days, but we usually get it pretty fast. And as soon as we receive it at the library, we'll email you the PDF right away, and it's a free process. And so that is something that's really helpful. So if there is a resource that you need to access, but you can't access the full article through the library, we have ways to get it for you for free. So that is kind of the gist of searching in the databases for articles. Things that you want to remember: 1, always go to the advanced search. That way you can combine the different search terms. And then once you do your search, so if we go do a very broad search, If you do the search, I mean, see here we have over 400,000 articles. Then you will, along the left-hand side, want to narrow down your search. And if you do have any issues finding your resources or knowing how to narrow your search, knowing what database to use, definitely reach out to me at the library. I'm Emily Defoe. I can help you with all of that. And if you're struggling to find your sources, just please let me know, email me, and I can help. But you always want to just definitely try multiple databases and just play around with your keywords, play around with the databases you're in. But the two databases that I would definitely recommend, and the searching process is pretty much the same as you saw in this video, would be ERIC and Education Source. But please reach out to me if you have any questions at all about knowing how to search in the databases and how to find your sources.